G'day traders, welcome to wrap up of Tuesday the 19th of June. On the daily chart here, basically, obviously we're in a strong buyer's trend now. We've broken up above this, which was a strong resistance area, is now becoming a support area. So, Monday was very likely a day to be one directional. That's because we were testing the area, and then basically Monday we popped up above it. It's the first time the cash market opened above that new support level, what was becoming support. So likelihood is once it breaks like that, just to get this one directional day, and it's just going to be a buying sort of day. Moving on to the next days, Tuesday, it's likely to be strong on the buyer's side, but we've had our one directional day, so there's a good chance of sellers coming into the market at some stage. So what I would say is sellers and buyers likely, but definitely putting more of a weighting with the buyers, because that's it's a start of a new trend. It's got some power behind it at the moment. So let's look at the 5-minute chart here. What's happened here is you can see the market's had this little bit of sideways trend, but what I want to say is this uptrend, most days, whichever way it goes, it's quite predictable at certain times. Basically, we pop down here. Predictive's popping down, looking to break down low here, but if you look at the other markets, especially the Nasdaq, it was pushing up at the same time, and no one was really looking like they wanted to go down. All of a sudden, you get this turn and this predictive starting to cross up. And as we're breaking past our very early highs here, all the other marks were right there and higher, so it's very likely that this is the direction they're picking, and away they go. And you can see on the 1-minute chart lines up quite well with a nice little bit of power fade as well. From there, the buyers pushed higher. Pretty much they've got some strength here. At no stage did the sellers ever really get any control. You can see that with these shallow pullbacks. There wasn't enough of a pullback to even get any sort of continuation trade. Looking at whether that could break through, again looking at the other markets gives a bit more insight into that. This area here, the markets were there, but no one was really breaking. This area here, it eventually has worked, but again it was hard to see it breaking with any sort of strength. The markets were quite contained, even though it is on the upside. And then again this third area here, it's worked quite well, but it was hard to see it coming as to saying that this was a real predictable up move, just because again the other markets were just hanging about, no one was really breaking. So I'd say it's not unlikely it's going to go up, but just as to whether you look for a breakout trade here, that's a little bit of a tough one to decide, because there's no strong evidence of it coming. As the market's pushing up like this, we had all day Monday pushing up, basically all day today. We're just waiting for some sort of sellers to come in and play. It's getting quite extended, and personally I just don't like looking at the markets when it's getting extended like this. We'd rather see some sellers come in and bring in some fresh opportunities. You can see that came in here. You've got to be careful, considering that it is a buyer's market. I'm placing a little bit more weight on the buyers. Just don't want to go with the sellers too soon. But they came in here quite strong. They started breaking underneath a bit of a support level here, so that was kind of enough once they break that to say that there's a good chance of it going on with it. Basically they'll pop back here and then continued to go on the downside. Looking over to the 1-minute chart, so here's this bit of a sideways move, which they tried to go down. There's no power there. They tried to go up. There was power there, so you've seen they pushed up with quite some significance, and all upper power points through here. Okay, so you can see no sort of pullback power point, so it's quite a top heavy market, so that makes it a little bit difficult. You want to see it coming back and touching pullback power points. So just looking at this market and watching support and resistance levels, so it tried to go here, but it didn't really push up any higher here, so waiting for it to come back, and if it starts breaking this sort of level here, then that's certainly going to encourage some sellers. It never got there. Again, it popped up higher, so that's quite a leading factor to believe that the buyers are coming. Then it came back without any sort of major pullback, and then away it went to the upside as well. Sorry, that PowerPoint over here. Now, and eventually then we've started to get this downturn. So as far as it pushing through this PowerPoint, I think it'd be a very gutsy one to take that on as a fade to the downside. Like, it's likely that sellers are going to come on in. Yes, that's certainly a fact with all these extended buyers, but getting on this early, I'd be a little bit concerned about that one. It's quite an aggressive way to approach it. You're best off looking for it to come back, hold a certain area, then look for the market to push down. So something like this PowerPoint here, got a really high chance of holding. It's just pushed through it, and then if you get confirmation, especially other markets pushing down here, look for some sort of power fade, or especially if you had it broken this area here, I think some sort of power fade down underneath here would have been the go. But you can see it has just held, and that's basically the end of the day. So that's a wrap up for Tuesday, and we'll speak to you guys on Wednesday.